Good morning.
Good morning.
It's nice to have you here with us.
Thank you so much.
Jaime Zacarias. Have I got that right?
Yeah, very good.
It's really nice to have you here chatting to
Thank
us.
you.
And we are extremely interested in your research into pigmented oranges.
Yeah, and for the people watching is that we previously met you when you did the presentation in Stellenbosch for the cultivar company, the CJ cultivar company, and it was fascinating.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
why
you.
we were so adamant trying to get you to come and chat to us.
Fascinating and incredibly inspiring because of the potential it holds for people. So please tell us more. Tell us what you do.
And who you are.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think the first we should put in context about the Spanish citrus industry that this is the one I know a little bit more. So you take a look at the statistics. The citrus consumption in Spain is going down over the last year. The only year that this trend changed was the year of the breakdown in 2020, where people were, in my opinion, more concerned about their health and their nutrition. But from this year, as I said, the citrus consumption is going down. And on the other side, the Spanish farmers, the citrus Spanish industry, is cultivating the same varieties for the last 50 years. So obviously there are new, especially Mandarin varieties, but for oranges is basically the same for the last maybe 50 years. So that's why one of the main reasons we are working with the red oranges, to provide something new for consumers and the market. And we are really interested into analyzing and characterizing the nutritional properties of these new varieties and their potential for the market and nutrition.
Okay.
So who came to you? Who said to you, Jaime, we need to look at this?
Well, it's something that when I started to work in my lab, when I started the PhD, my lab was working in red oranges for a long time ago. I think that the first or the second paper that was released characterizing, in this case, Cara, came from my job if I'm not wrong, in 2008. So there was already an interest from my lab to work on it. And in some point that I don't really know, my lab already had a relationship with Citrus Rosso, that is a Spanish company that is producing and it's interested in to commercialize all these varieties. And just the opportunity to work in these oranges came up, and that's basically what my PhD was about, and it's basically my main research line nowadays.
Okay. We fell into this. You didn't really explain your academic background and where you've been studying. So maybe you need to give us that too.
Where I come from. So I studied biology in the University of Valencia. Then I did a master degree in food quality and safety. And then I started my PhD in food science. And as I said, my PhD was basically about characterizing at different levels, physiologically, chemically, and genetically, these varieties.
So when you grew up and you finished school and you said, okay, right, I'm going to go do something in biology, did you ever imagine that you will be working with oranges and being at an event like this where we are at now?
If I'm honest, yes, a little bit, because it's something that comes from my family. My father also is a researcher and has been working with citrus fruit for a long time ago. Something that comes from family. It was very close to me during my childhood. Yeah, but I think I didn't imagine that I was going to finish working in the things I'm doing right now. It's something that just happened to take the opportunity and work on it.
And you can ask your father for some advice as well.
Yeah.
That helps.
For sure.
Yes,
it's a big advantage to have a father that work in the same field.
Absolutely, and you can get that kind of inspiration, and there's already the ground has been built for you in a way to continue. So I think it's be good if you can define what are we talking about? What are these red?
Why are we so interested in it?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so the main difference between the red oranges and the traditional oranges are the pigments they accumulate. So carotenoids are the pigments responsible for citrus fruit coloration. And apart from providing coloration, its consumption has been related with many important and relevant properties for health. Basically, reducing the risk of developing certain chronic diseases. So the point of the red oranges is that they accumulate, especially in the pulp, a very large amount of carotenoids. This large amount of carotenoids comes especially from two main compounds that are called phytoin and phytophilin. These compounds are colorless, so they don't provide any color. That's the main difference between these compounds and other carotenoids. We know carotenoids because they are orange color, but these compounds are colorless. And these are compounds that you can find in normal oranges and maybe also in grapefruits, but in very low concentrations. And I'm talking about that red oranges accumulate about 10 times higher levels of these compounds in some cases.
50 times.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah, more.
Sure.
And even in some cases about 100 times more concentration of these compounds. So even though lycopene is the most remarkable feature in these oranges, because it's the compound that provides the red coloration, the amount of lycopene in red oranges, I would say that comparing with other fruits that are also red due to lycopene, like tomatoes or watermelon, the concentration of lycopene is rather low in red oranges. So the most remarkable characteristics in these fruits is the high levels of these compounds I'm talking about.
The colorless ones.
The colorless, phytoin and phytophilin, they are called.
And I remember previously when we heard your presentation, you were saying that until recently, no one really took much note of these two.
Yeah, that's
and the timing is now that people are noticing this and
you're
they
discovering.
They knew about them, but because they were colorless, kind of ignored them. But now people are looking at it and finding these incredible health, as you were explaining to us, the health benefits of these things. And the timing of that and your studies is like, oh my word, look at this, what they're finding. So, tell us more.
Can breeders, for instance, use genomics to sequence out that thing and bring that into other varieties that they might be developing?
Well, actually, this is one of the things we are working on. To do that, I think that first of all, you need to understand. You need to know what are the mechanisms, the genetic mechanisms why red oranges are red, because the red color is linked with the high levels of these carotenoids. So it's now one of our main objectives. So to figure out what is or are the genetic mechanisms leading to the accumulation of lycopene, and first knowing that, maybe you can find for approaches to increase the carotenoids levels in future varieties or in breeding programs to achieve that.
Wow.
Okay, what are the health benefits?
Yeah. Okay, that's a key point. So last year, in 2022, we started to collaborate with the Clinical Hospital of Valencia, one of the most important hospitals in my city, and with a mate from the same institute we work, who is an expert in microbiology. So we gather our different expertise. We are let's say the experts in the food matrix, citrus. Our mate from IATA is expert in microbiology, especially in human microbiota, and for sure the hospital. From 2022, we started to recruit a set of children, obese children, because the main expertise of the doctors from this hospital is obesity in children especially. And during this experiment, the objective of this experiment was to split up to different group of children. One of these children took red-orange daily for 1 month, and the other one neighbor orange, a traditional orange for other months. So, and then we compare the differences between two groups before and after the intervention, and different clinical parameters, such as could be triglycerides, cholesterol, and so on, and also potential changes in the microbiota. So,
sorry, how old were these children? How old were the children?
Yes,
in the
between
group?
8 and 16 years old.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
children and adolescents.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and so far, and at the same time, we have done different in vitro studies, which mean studies performed in laboratory conditions that they are much easier to develop, but it's, let's say, is not the same kind of experiments that working with.
It's not a clinical experiment where you're dealing with people.
Exactly, exactly. So, one considering that all these experiments are in progress. So first we are trying to recruit more children, because it's not easy to recruit this kind of children to get a sufficient population to make this experiment as robust, as significant as possible.
I can just imagine that conversation at home when the mom comes and says, "No, you're part of a experiment. You must only eat oranges. You can't have potato chips. You must eat your oranges now." I can imagine there was a lot of kicking and screaming. From the kids.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And sorry. So far, one of the best results we have seen is that both from in vitro and clinical studies, we saw that the microbiota has potential changes, potential improvements, reducing some species of the microbiota related to inflammatory processes, which is not good, and at the same time improve the number of species related to good processes. So from in vitro and real and clinical studies. So that's really good, because from two different perspectives we are getting to the same results. And even though, as I said, the number of participants is still low, we have also seen good changes in the levels of triglycerides, reducing the levels of triglycerides in these children. So these changes occur both in the group of children who took normal orange and the red orange. So in fact, the consumption of orange is good for health. However, the group of children who took the red orange has
it's even better.
Is even better. Has higher effects than the one with traditional orange. So these are one of the the most important results we have seen so far. We are keep working on it.
So if I can summarize what you said, help me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The red pigmented oranges have a significantly better effect on positive influence on your microbiota.
Exactly.
And assisting with correcting obesity in children.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's huge news.
We can summarize basically like that, yeah.
That's huge news.
So, okay. Now you might have somebody that might be listening to this or reading the article or reading your study that you've done. How much, okay, you said you gave them oranges for 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 1 orange per day? Was
Yeah.
it 5? Was it 10? How much is too much and how much is enough?
Yes, what's a daily portion? What would you recommend?
We don't really know.
Oh.
We don't really know. So when we were thinking about how many oranges these children should take for our experiment, we think about something that was normal for a normal person when in their daily nutrition, and maybe not everybody eats one orange a day, but at the same time it's not too much. So we were thinking about something real. So because at the end our
something
goal,
practical that you can actually do.
It's also to extrapolate, not to overweight or obese children, but to the general population. And one of our biggest concerns, we were afraid that one orange a day for 1 month was not enough to see changes in the different parameters that we have measured. But luckily, we did. So we have observed some potential changes in only with one orange a day for 1 month. So it's working.
So there you go.
So it's working.
So I know that when you presented previously, you said these findings will be published soon, like next year.
It's something that I can tell you specifically when these results will be published, because first we need to increase the number of participants to get. So the more number of participants you have your experiment, the better journal you can publish your studies.
So with this group of children that you said, right, you can have 1 orange a day. Did they have to cut anything out of their standard diet that they were following? Did they just have to add an orange in?
No, I think the information that arrived to us from the hospital is that these children don't follow a specific diet. They have some nutritional recommendations. So that's why you need to have a big number of participants to try to reduce the influence of other food that these children are taking, because we have to consider that it's not a lot of things can be involved, in the health of these children, not only an orange. So to be sure that these changes can be related to the orange intake, you need a big number of participants.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So it's so fascinating. Can these elements be extracted from the oranges and put into a pill form?
Absolutely.
Or supplement or...
Yeah.
And you haven't spoken about the UV protection that these elements give.
Yeah, okay. So, actually, I didn't mention before, the raw oranges are one of the biggest sources of these compounds, not only in citrus, but also in fruits in general. It's difficult to find from plant foods another matrix with the same amount of concentration of these compounds, apart from the red oranges. These compounds were not fully studied, because in the past scientists or people thought that the color was related to the properties. So, but now there are more and more studies characterizing these compounds, and one of the most interesting properties of these compounds, and that's why they are colorless, because they absorb the ultraviolet radiation. So that's why you cannot see, because this wavelength is below the wavelength of the colors, the visible spectrum. Let's say, so they are useful, or they could be useful, absorbing ultraviolet radiations. So, and as far as I know, there are now some companies extracting these compounds and using it for different formulations to produce sunscreens and something like that. And also there is a very interesting study. I think there is only one that demonstrate that not using these compounds as a sunscreen or moisturizer. No, taking these compounds can reduce the effect of the sunburning in people.
Okay, so basically, if it's in your system, it will even help.
Yes, because these compounds are very bioavailable in the body. It's something that has
bioavailable.
That's something that has been already demonstrated. So you have, let's say, a concentration of these compounds in your bloodstream. Maybe they can provide a kind of protection against the ultraviolet radiation or the oxidative stress that the ultraviolet radiation can produce on you.
It's incredible. So, okay, so we're sitting here with our mouths hanging open about this information, to be honest. When will you be able to put this out there into the public?
Well, he said he's not 100% sure yet, because they will still extrapolate the study.
But you can say this now. We can put this out.
So I can say this now because this is something that has been already published, and it's known, and it's public. And one of the experiments I think I have been thinking about that I would like to perform in my lab, as it's a first in vitro condition because it's much easier, is trying to use different cell models and obtain an extract from red oranges, and use these extracts in cell models and see if it's true that these cell models can survive for longer and for better due to the extract of red oranges. So I would like to start from this and maybe go up in
so like a longevity.
The longevity, yeah.
To increase the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm thinking here now, because farmers, they are special people.
Yeah. In every country, not only
in every country, but think often farmers are so clever, but they just follow what has been done before. Yeah. So if their father exported fruit and their grandfather, they will also do that. But I'm seeing here now that if these studies prove these things, people can start growing these oranges for medicinal.
Yes, that's true.
So that like herbs and things like that, you don't supply it as an export market. The marked fruit, things like that would normally
the
go
throw
for
out stuff, which doesn't look good, but still has all the properties.
Exactly.
Serves another purpose.
Yeah, but it's just the peel that doesn't look good. That normally goes for juice or gets fed to the animals or compost and stuff like that. Can now be sent to be for medicinal use, where all these properties could be extracted, and who knows, maybe they could even get more money for that.
Yeah. So I think it's important to say that any food works as a medicine. So they can reinforce your health because you maybe taking red oranges, you are adding your body some compounds that you don't usually take because, as I said, there are not many food sources that they are rich of these compounds. So it's something that can promote or to some extent your health, but they are not medicines. So that's something that I think it's important to be clear with, and because at the end, because you were talking about the farmers and the citrus industry, and it's a question that some people ask me sometimes, especially farmers, how can they use this all this information, all this research in their own benefits? So from a scientific point of view, so one of our goals is to provide good data, that I think is what we are doing right now, to the citrus industry, and I think that they should know how to use this data in their for their own benefits, maybe through social media, through I don't know any other way to make aware the population about the potential of these oranges. From our perspective, so we have to get this good data, but it should be the citrus industry that should
that makes it available.
Exactly.
Great.
Excellent.
There's one last question, important one I have to ask you, and that is, what is the difference between blood oranges and lycopene red pigmented oranges?
Yeah. It's something that I always like to start with in my presentations, because since I just started to work with red oranges, many people, because from my city in Valencia, everybody knows about oranges and citrus. What are you working on? I work with red oranges. Blood oranges? No, they have nothing to do.
That's why I asked you.
Yeah, blood oranges. Let's see that the blood oranges don't have a homogeneous color, and it's more a purple color. So this color comes from some compounds that are called anthocyanins, which belong to a family of flavonoids, a big family of compounds.
Flavonoids.
Flavonoids.
So something that gives flavor.
And color.
No, not really. So they can influence the flavor, but I think it's not one of the most relevant properties of these compounds. However, red oranges, the color of red oranges comes from carotenoids, which are two completely different of family compounds. And one interesting characteristic that flavonoids are water soluble, while carotenoids are lipophilic. They are soluble in oil. So you can imagine they are completely family of compounds. People can confuse them because both produce color, but the first thing I explain people about red oranges is the same color as tomato. Everybody knows tomato. So the color of tomato,
that's the lycopene,
comes from lycopene, as well as the color of the red oranges.
And I understand that the blood oranges, whether they develop color or not depends a lot on weather, temperature, pH. It's not fixed, whereas with the lycopene oranges, the color is always there.
Yeah, exactly. So the environmental agronomical factors highly influence probably all characteristics of the fruit. But yeah, blood oranges, the color of blood oranges is not homogeneous, but although the climatic conditions could be different between different areas, you will see that the red oranges always develop homogeneous color inside. It's true that maybe here in South Africa I've seen sometimes that some red varieties red oranges can develop some red shades in the peel. However, we never seen that in Spain. So that's an example that different climate conditions can influence the levels of carotenoids. But you will see that regardless the place and the climate, the red oranges are always red homogeneous inside. Yeah.
Wow, it is fascinating.
Isn't it incredible? I'm so excited about this, and believe you me, I'm going to be eating red oranges from now on.
Well, as we discussed with Carlos from Citrus Rosso and John, and we're going to start calling them pink oranges.
Yes. I've been told it's a pink orange to prevent the confusion with blood oranges.
Yeah. So I've been using the name of red oranges because personally I think the color is more red than reddish, but I understand that from a commercial marketing perspective, is useful and advisable to use pink instead of red to avoid this confusing between red and blood oranges. Yeah,
this is very exciting. So, have you got anything else you want to ask?
No. But you presented on something. We thought you were going to be presenting here at the symposium about the pink oranges, and you presented about something completely
different. I talk about something completely different,
which is just as interesting.
Yes.
Well, this is I talk about something that we are working on nowadays in our lab, because as you know, citrus industry around the world is very interested in Nadorcot, because it's a very stable variety, and there are people that are interested about the green Nadorcot to put it earlier in the market. So I thought that maybe this topic will be suit better in this symposium than red oranges. But I would love to present more results about red oranges in next symposiums. Yeah, for sure.
So you've started this research. You and your colleagues in Valencia have started this research. It's hugely exciting, and the potential for consumers to come and buy these oranges because of their health properties. And I mean, they are delicious, and the flavor.
We only eat red oranges at our
the flavor is delicious. So I can imagine that this might create a massive demand from consumers.
We hope so.
So tell us, where are you guys going with this? What's happening next? What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, we need to finish the studies, and just to tell you, I'll be granted with how can I say that, with a grant.
A grant?
At the risk of something,
a bursary
at the risk of something redundant. So for the next 2 years, to work and finish all the studies we are involved right now with red oranges. But you say the potential of these varieties is very huge. So first finish these studies. Maybe let's see we can increase these studies with different population. So it's true that maybe it's much easier to get some positive results in people that are affected by some pathology or stuff. So and it's much more difficult to see results in healthy people. How do you improve someone who is already healthy? So it's difficult. So maybe in the future we will think about increase our studies to a bigger population. And yeah, I think that's first step by step. First finish our studies and then move forward.
And you spent some time in South Africa now. You were here for like 3 or 4 months?
3 months. 3 months already.
3 months. Any chance of moving the study to South Africa?
Well, it would be incredible. It would be incredible. It's something that I haven't thought about it before. Yeah, but it would be a great opportunity to do similar studies in different countries. Yeah, so that can reinforce your results, not for the citrus industry community worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Imagine. And we are at the CRI symposium. How have you found this? Have you found it interesting?
Amazing in all the aspects. So all the presentations were very high level, very interesting. The organization of the symposium is, being honest, I've been in my short research career in 3-4 international congresses so far, but this one is the best one in all the senses. The organizing, the quality of the presentations. So, and it's something that I would like to say, that they realize that the South African citrus industry is working together, and it's really good. And I don't know if some people will like what I'm going to say, but I think we have something to learn about it in the Spanish citrus industry.
Fantastic. Jaime, thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much I really appreciate for being here today with you.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks so
And
much.
you must enjoy the last couple of, how long, when you're going back?
Next week. I will come back next Sunday. Yeah, I'm going through the next days of my stay here in South Africa.